So, I promised video, you have video. We now finally have the working jaw. Yes! Obnoxious, idiotic, evil thing. As you can see, we have a slight gap tooth in this when I have it closed. But, considering all the issues I had with it, I'll take a little gap. I think we can handle that. I have tried correcting it with foam. Hasn't quite corrected. It's actually, if I push it shut, it kind of catches. And you might even be able to see sort of, it'll stay closed until I pull it. So, like, yeah. Yeah, we'll take the slight gap. This jaw works the same as the other one. It does just pop out.
Which other one? This one here?
The one that goes into that dragon there.
Okay.
Okay, so it just pops off. And you have a separate jaw piece, which makes getting your head on and off much, much simpler. And interestingly enough, the pressure on this jaw, pulling on these guys here, actually helps hold this down on the head, which is really kind of nice. So, yay. Because I was having problems with this slipping up constantly earlier. We were having some issues with this jaw because of the fangs.
Why is that?
A polar bear jaw. And as you can see, the teeth are they're huge. They're pretty massive teeth. They're really big. You can see it can fit totally closed just fine. However, if you don't get the angles just right, the teeth catch on each other, you have issues. And partially that's because this is modeled off of a real jaw. This is not just a taxidermy knockoff. This is a resin replica. So that makes a slight difference, which gives the teeth a lot more realism because they've got pocks and pits and it's even missing a tooth. Because the jaw that didn't have a tooth. So that's that. Basically, what we found out is when you're planning your mask, depending on the type of teeth you have, if you glance over at this guy, you notice he's got real small teeth. There's the bottom jaw. Their teeth are tiny. I mean, just a slight difference there. So basically, with these ones, I had no issues because the teeth are so small they never caught on each other, and this is a taxidermy knockoff. So, with this one, if you don't line up that angle just right back here to the hinge, the teeth catch on each other, it flops off to one side, you get all sorts of issues. So if you're ever dealing with a jaw with bigger teeth, make sure you get that lined up just right.
So, what exactly do you mean by lined up just right? What do you mean?
Basically, the real jaw is meant to open at a specific angle. And so, before, like, I had my angle up here in the other mask. The point was up here, so I just kind of went up and it was fine. But if you look, and actually it's probably easier to see on this side.
Okay.
Okay, this, okay, on a direct plane is higher than the jaw.
There we go.
Okay? Whereas this bolt is almost directly in line with the jaw. Basically, if the jaw was just super big, super long, this would be directly in line.
I see.
Okay, and that was the big deal we had. Is these bolts had to be directly in line with the jaw to make it work. So what I was having problems with the last 3 weeks was I was trying to put that up here, and because the angle was off, the teeth were catching. And I also ran into another issue. With the last mask, when I mounted this piece of plastic here, which is it's like a safety mask thing. It's just a piece of clear plastic, covers your face, and it's got a little helmet piece. The little helmet piece, this mounts on a piece that's blue, and it's sort of a partial visor, and that helps hold it steady. And I put that blue piece in the last mask. However, because I was mounting this mask on an entirely different headset system, I skipped the blue piece because it was just going to get in the way.
What is that headset system anyway?
This is a replacement piece for a welder's mask.
Okay.
So it's meant to bear heavy weight. And that was the big point.
Once you're done with the mask, you can just list off all the ingredients that went into making it, right?
Yeah, maybe. I'll probably forget 20 of them. So I didn't do that with this one. However, because A, it's a welder's mask, B, the plastic is from a different piece, and C, we have all this foam in here. When I put it on my head, the foam actually distorts the whole thing, like that. Ever so slight difference. If you look real close, you can see that these will move inward and narrow.
Couldn't really see that on the video, so I'm going to come around here behind you and you show me again.
Okay, so this is relaxed. With my head in it, it does that. Can you see the movement? See how they change shape? And that causes a ever so slightly different measurement between the jaw pieces, which if you don't get it exactly right, the jaw won't fit. Again, issues. So there's some things, when you're doing this method, if you get this piece of plastic, I got it from Home Depot, from like a safety mask, I believe is what it was called, and has a blue little visor lid with a regular, another one of these, that's really cheap and really pathetic. You want to keep the blue thing in it, because the blue thing will provide the support and keep the plastic stiff so it doesn't bend and move on you. Okay, so basically this part will still move, but the blue piece will keep the plastic stiff.
Do you have the blue piece on there right now?
I do not. The blue piece is in the old one. I don't know if you can see it or not. Actually, you sort of can. I'm going to come over here real close to the light so we can get some good light inside these things, because they can be real hard. You see there's a blue thing right there? Okay?
Oh, that thing right there. Okay.
The blue thing. See how right here it clips onto the plastic? Okay? And right now, with this one, I just had zip ties holding it onto this headpiece, which came out of a hard hat.
Ha!
Which was sort of a bad idea. I thought it'd be great because it has nice little support things, but it was a bad idea. So this blue piece keeps the plastic from bending.
Okay.
Okay, so if I ever do this again, keep the blue piece.
Oh, good to know. Okay.
So there's some of the trials and tribulations we've been going through trying to get this other jaw figured out. It's almost the exact same system. You have your basic wire frame and you have a chin cup. Okay, what I have here is a foam piece and then some Sintra, which is actually sign-making material that under a heat gun, I think the heat gun is set to like 300 degrees, it'll melt it, and so you can bend it and shape it. It's real great for that.
It's that stuff right there, isn't it?
Yeah, there's some white one, and the green one is actually the one I used on this guy. And it's kind of hard to tell. It's curved into an S shape.
Looks a little bit like a shoehorn, doesn't it?
Shoehorn, okay. I'm not used to shoehorns. So it's got this curve here that does like this, and this piece here was specifically molded to my chin. So it has a little divot here, which is now covered with this foam pad because I was making up for gap space. I had to fill it with some great stuff because the plastic in and of itself didn't have quite enough strength to resist the pressure of the jaw against the head. So basically when I pushed against the plastic gave, and my jaw didn't move as well. So I filled it with great stuff to give it support. There we go, problem solved.
Great stuff?
Great stuff. This is called great stuff. It's an expandable foam.
Ah, okay.
It's used for insulation purposes, sealant purposes, etc. It's a crafter's, builder's material.
Stuff you learn, huh?
Yeah. There's some other brands, but the Great Stuff brand is the one I know. But, yeah, that's the basic, what's been going on. The other jaw setup, I believe I have it right here. This is the old jaw setup. You can see they're almost the exact same idea. Here's the hooks. The other jaw would be right here. So it would sit basically like that. But basically instead of having the wire come across my chin in the new one, I use the plastic, and the plastic hooks on the bottom of the jaw. Okay. With this system, on the other one, I was having too much problems with the jaw going...
Doing what again? Okay.
It was twisting to the side way too much. So we solved that problem by basically making these separate so that I could balance it on the head and keep it balanced and even so it would move evenly, and then apply the pressure separately. So that's what's been going on with the jaw. We're finally moving ahead on actually modeling the thing and getting it set up.
And so next video you're going to show us all the different things you're doing for the modeling?
The next one will probably just be pictures, but I wanted to explain everything that had been going on with this monstrosity here. Because trying to get that moving jaw is a pain in the arse. Well,
just for the very end of the video here, why don't you go over and pick that up and show the side that's unmodeled versus the one that's modeled.
Okay.
And they saw it a little bit while you were talking, but there's so much information here, dear.
Yeah. So basically this is sort of the start.
Okay.
This is active wire mesh. And as you can see, I've been shaping it. It's kind of hard to see. It looks like the eye comes all the way up here, the eye socket. It actually comes all the way down here, because I've remodeled it a couple times. I've got a few layers of mesh there. So it's actually this huge brow ridge right through there, and this is the bottom here. And the eye that fits in it